Hello everybody, this is Nick speaking. Welcome back to Planet Coaster. This is episode number 5, and as you guys can maybe tell, the conversion between the first alpha and the second one was a success, and that light looks kind of bizarre there. It's not really quite the effect I was going for with that sign, but anyways, yes, we are still in the same park that we were in before, because fortunately for us, everything seems to have crossed over fairly well to the second alpha. I'm noticing there's a few corner trim pieces here that got left out, and a few pieces got kinda moved around during the conversion, like mostly over here on this building, but yeah, for the most part, I mean, if you look around, it mostly looks like all the same stuff in the same places, so I'm glad that worked out for us, and it got some new sorts of building pieces and all that kind of stuff going on, so yeah, lots of new things. I think it's like everything with the dot next to it, or the new items, is the way I'm kind of thinking about this. I'm not quite sure if that's truly what's going on here, but... And yes. Then there's also some nice... Oh, and that's nice. For, like, these pieces that go on the corner, just being able to... That is a good little feature there. I like that. Lots of new little things like that that are probably going to be very helpful for us in building and everything, so yeah, definitely excited to continue on with this park and figure out how to get these things fixed, because yeah, it looks like there's going to be some fixing that needs to be done here, so you know what, so I think I'm gonna take some time here, fix most of it, let the actual game run for a little bit, and we'll see what all I need to get done, and I'll come back when everything's fixed up for this park. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Alright, so technically I'm back, and yeah, this is a little bit sped up because I spent about an hour and a half trying to, you know, do terrain sculpting and all this kind of stuff, and it just didn't turn out very well, because frankly I have no idea what I'm doing with all, like, these sculpting tools, and then there's a building, and okay, the real reason is my audio didn't record again. For some reason, I'm starting to wonder, has something to do specifically with this type of recording or something, just because it only seems to happen with Planet Coaster, and all my other recordings have been fine lately with recording my mic, so I'm really wondering, for some reason, if Shadowplay doesn't like this game for some reason, or what's going on here, so yeah, I basically am trying to get a path to go up the hill here that doesn't look like complete crap, and I still think it ends up looking pretty bad at the end, so yeah, I'm not happy with it. You know, it's a lot of, I'm not used to using these terrain tools yet, so I don't really know what I'm doing with them. And apparently, trying to get something to conform for path is not very easy to do, unfortunately. You know, it is one of these things, you know, that I probably just need to get used to, and once we're used to it, it's probably going to be a lot easier to use at that point, but yeah, for right now, it's just, you know, trying to figure out how all these tools work, and yeah, so I think it might actually be better off that we ended up speeding all this up, because there is definitely a lot of I just keep redoing things over and over because I'm trying to get things to work and it just doesn't want to for me. So, yeah. So here I am, still trying to get a path in. Not too much going on here. Yeah, and the terrain tools are kind of interesting. I do like the tools. They're not the easiest thing to use. Or at least if you don't know how they work right away. Because they don't exactly do what you would think right off the bat all the time, which, you know, that's just how they are, and you're not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just, you know, something I need to get used to, and apparently now I'm scrolling all over the park and trying to figure out what's going on with this path, which I'm still realizing is really super bumpy, and yeah, we got some new movement tools and all that kind of stuff as well, which is a kind of nice addition to this. So here I am. I believe now I start working on a little bit of a tower here, and yep, we got ourselves just kind of like a little tower to introduce us to the new area, which I actually think turned out very well, and you know, placing the different sorts of items and that in here differently, and yeah, so here I am. Yeah, I spent, I don't know how long trying to look for that bell, but took a while, and then, if I remember right, this building, I end up using the sort of, different stucco style pieces for this build, so that way it ends up looking kind of cool, and everything kind of fits together, and using the sort of... yeah, I use the stone for kind of the a bottom sort of layer here, just to kind of give it a little bit of detail down there, and then I use these pillars, and they're different kinds of pillars just stacked on top of one another up the entire building. You'll see that in just a second here, but yeah, it looks kind of cool, and I definitely think it's one of these things that kind of tied in pretty well, and I am trying to figure out how all this stuff places too, so that's always fun. And yeah, and then just, you know, work our way up, make it kind of all work. And if, yeah, that one was a little out of place, I go back here, fix it. Yep, and just kind of continue working upward. I think this is as far up as I actually go, if I remember right, just because I decided the bell was the top, and I think I just end up putting like just a regular roof at the height right above it, so it just doesn't look out of place anymore, and I use these kind of guys to try to give a lot of detail to this building, and I think that turned out pretty well for me. And yeah, just it's, you know, it's just, this stuff just needs some getting used to, and I don't think it turned out bad at all. It's just I need to really know how all these tools work, and you know, still figure things out, because yeah, I didn't really have too much time before this episode to really play with it, and didn't really have too much time for the episode itself either, which is why I'm mostly resorting to doing a post-commentary again. And yeah, it's just like, and I don't know why it specifically keeps happening to me on this series in particular and none of the other ones. You know, it's frustrating. I think I end up, yeah, trying to put like a sort of detail down on the bottom there because, yeah, it doesn't really fit. End up going with this, and I go back in a little bit further and down like that, so we get the little sort of, I guess I call them just like the top parts of the wall, and nothing really else in that area, so I think that actually works out pretty well for us. This one had to be turned around because for some reason we were clipping outside of the area, unlike the other ones, which I don't understand, but I mean, I know it's not a square shape, and then I come and I make these kind of shapes over here. I'm basically trying to make it look like these corner pillars are extended, I suppose, is what I'd say about that. And, you know, I don't know if that's really a great thing to add, but then we've got the kind of extra stucco bit here in the middle, which just use a little bit of a different sort of color to that area and from the walls on the rest of the building, and I end up going with a where I'm still going around menus, don't know why. Oh, I tried this sort of weird sloped thing and I end up not liking it, so it gets deleted, although I spent maybe like 10 minutes or so on it, and yeah, I just, you know, I've seen other people do this already, and it turned out really well for them, and it didn't turn out so well for me because I don't know how to do it, apparently. So that's a thing. And yeah, I spent so much time working on this, I always feel like this was a waste of time, you know, but it's here, and I think I end up just going with like a regular, like the top part of the roof, just to kind of still have it here, and then I put it both ways just to kind of give the tower some symmetry from each side. And yeah, at this point, this is where I start realizing, yeah, this isn't gonna actually work, because I'm trying to put these in here at the right angle, and it's just kind of sticking out from there, and there's not really any other good sort of corner piece. I think I go here with this for a little bit, and I end up kind of turning it a lot, but it also doesn't end up looking very good, so I end up just scrapping this idea altogether. Yeah. And here we go, be deleting all of that, and then we're going to just go grab a regular roof, and that one right there is the one we end up going with. I end up also rotating it and intersecting them, so to give us a little bit of a detail there, and yeah, the little pillar at the top with the flag here on it, although if I remember right, I end up rotating this 100 times as well, and yeah, I think it just ends up right there. It looks a little weird just because the way the texture is angled, but it works for this area, and yeah, so that's kind of that part done, and if I remember right, yeah, the rest of this is me going around doing some landscaping with some rocks and that kind of stuff in the nearby area, because yeah, this is one of these things that I've been wanting to do for a little while, and I am then trying to look for a sign that doesn't actually exist. So yeah, this is again a waste of time. I'm looking for, and apparently there's a Venetian carousel. That interesting. And here I am kind of annoyed about that again, but then I start painting terrain and I like this. So terrain paint, interesting concept, and it actually helped the rocks look a lot more like they fit into this area, and just me being able to use the different textures in here was kind of nice, actually. So yeah, here I go, placing in some more rocks, and, you know, random different rotations and all of that, which, you know, I think is to be expected. It's also possible to rotate these rocks on their side, which I think I do with one or two of them at some point, and actually ended up looking really nice, and I mixing some foliage in with it as well. Really not a fan of that one. Not the... Yeah, that one just kind of looks almost fake compared to the other ones to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the color, but... Yeah, I think just adding a little bit of this kind of stuff in just kind of gives us the detail we need to make everything look good, and yeah, kind of brings us over to the area where we already have the what's it called, the Sky Ace, yeah, that ride. And I do a little bit of landscaping over here off to the other side, and I think a few benches end up showing up over here as well. I might be wrong about that. No, it doesn't look like I did the benches over there yet, or didn't do any benches yet, so yeah, I end up looking around again, because I'm trying to record, because I'm, like, still thinking, hey, this is going to turn out, and I need to actually be speaking about things while I'm recording, and blah, 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 but yeah, that didn't happen, so yeah. Here we go with me instead placing some bushes around the tower, and you might have seen too there that I also rotated the tower a little bit. And now I'm coming in and putting some rocks into this side of the hill, and I'm kind of going to give it the same treatment as the other side. And yeah, this is the rock that I end up kind of just rotating into the hill itself. And it turns out pretty well. I think just that little bit of extra detail works for this, and yeah, I think just getting a little bit of foliage and that kind of stuff in there works for us. And then I end up taking a new path through here. I think I turned off the rotation here so I can snap it in an interesting angle. And then if I remember right, what we do at the end here, I just kind of wrap the rest of this building around with plants and all that kind of stuff, put in a few benches, and they're not real benches, they're fake ones made with scenery. Yeah, like that one right there. Yep, see, here I go, I'm copying it, pasting it over here, and I like these. They look like actual benches, and I think they fit the area quite well. But anyways, that's going to actually do it for the end of this episode, because I'm running out of footage. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!